riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, Juicy J to my kid Delicious, co-host extraordinaire, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty nervous.
We're gonna talk about one of the most lighthearted albums we've ever done here on the show. What's got you nervous?
I have inflammatory things to say this week, Garrett. I have allegations. Now, these are all, of course, based on Vice articles, which, if there's lawsuits, it should go to them. But the point is, I'm real scared we're going to get sued. I suspect Ace of Base is very litigious. So, at the top of this is satire. It's only said for comedic purposes. It's all alleged. And the members of Ace of Base are all upstanding individuals who, of course, do not support any radical ideologies.
Of course not.
Also, I will say this, a slightly separate subject. I found a lumpy manila envelope on your desk that had the phrase "the Bud Dwyer Project" just scratched all out.
Oh my.
I didn't have the courage to open it, but I'm worried.
Tim, what album have we been listening to for an entire week straight?
It's troubling to move past that, but we have been.
Well, what would you have me say?
Honestly, I kind of prefer it now that I think about it. Just don't write my name on it, please.
No, please, Tim. What details would you like me to divulge?
No. I am now realizing that I want no further information about this. We have been listening to. Don't shoot me. Don't make me shoot me. Don't.
Don't Google Mr. Hands. Don't Google Shaved Bears. Certainly don't Google Bud Dwyer. You can Google him. Don't Google video search him.
Exactly. Yes, that's very important. We have, of course, been listening to Ace of Base's 1992/1993 album, The Sign, aka the US version of Happy Nation.
And Tim, after an entire week with The Sign, Ace of Base, and their nonstop upbeat lyrics, do you hate this album?
Strongly. I'm going to need to be convinced not to hate this if I'm not going to hate this. It's disturbing.
I did not expect this to be controversial.
By the time I get done with the history, I don't think it's going to be controversial. I think it's just going to be very troubling.
Fascinating answer.
What about you, friend? Did you do enough research to decide that this should be hated?
Clearly not. No, Tim, since week 2, I have stopped doing all research. It's more fun to be surprised.
Oh, well, I have some surprises for you. I have some things that will likely be bleeped out.
God damn it. In any event, whatever you may be about to divulge aside, I'll make my judgment then. As of right now, Tim, I cannot hate this album. It would be irresponsible.
Okay.
What?
I think I'm going to get you there before we even get to the album.
Wow. Okay. Well, before you change my mind, Tim, I'm a little curious. Prior to this week, what's your experience with Ace of Base and specifically any of the music on this album?
The only song that I have ever heard on here is The Sign. I remember hating this by default. I don't think I'd know anything other than the actual chorus, but when I was in middle school, possibly even elementary school, I remember even then being, or at least considering myself, too cool for this song. In my mind, this band was a joke instead of the menacing group of individuals that it turns out this is.
What?
Yeah. What about you, friend? Have you ever heard any of this?
Yeah, I definitely heard The Sign, definitely heard Don't Turn Around, and that's where it stops. If I heard a third song, I did not remember it, but those are the two big ones. And yeah, I kind of hated it by default. It was mega popular pop music, so popular that I know every word of both of those songs, merely from incidental radio listening. But full disclosure, my father did own the album because I believe this was the early end of the Columbia House engagement for him, and he didn't realize that if you don't specify the 20 CDs for a penny you want, if you're like, no thanks, I don't need 20 CDs, they're like, cool, here's some anyway.
We have chosen for you.
Yeah, and one of them was, of course, The Sign. And so it was in the mix. I have heard at least those two songs. Couldn't say I've heard any of the others. I have a lot more appreciation for Ace of Base now than I did then. I can say that.
I aim to ruin that for you.
Yeah, it really seems like you're going to tell me that they're responsible for the Holocaust or something like that. You've really built it up.
Not the first one, Garrett, but we'll see.
Good Lord. But they're Swedish.
Yeah. So
anyway,
white.
Boy, with bated breath I wait. That pretty much rounds it out for my personal history. Without wasting another moment, let's get to this damning evidence you have before us. Prosecutor, take us on a journey. Help us understand who is Ace of Base and how did the sign come to be?
Well, this whole thing started with Swedish weirdo Jonas Berggren, aka Joker, and his two friends Johnny Linden and Nicholas Trank. They made a band essentially for a school project. They started out as a kind of a post-punk covers band, I believe. Then they were the Kalinin Project. It was named after a street in Moscow. CAD for computer-aided disco, tech noir, and etc. Joker's sisters Lynn and Jenny would later join as singers. They toured Sweden making techno and house music in something called Italo disco.
What?
Italo disco.
What does that mean?
It's an Italian style of disco.
I don't think so.
Johnny abandoned the group in 1989. In 1990, the Rolling Stones were playing a song in Gothenburg where the whatever they were called at that point were also supposed to perform a show, and Nicholas didn't bother to show up for their show because he went to the Rolling Stones concert. So Joker asked his buddy Ulf Ekberg, aka Buddha, to replace Nicholas. They immediately stole a bunch of reggae band sounds. There's a Jamaican reggae band using a studio next to theirs. They started incorporating the reggae and the pop. This was called China reggae. For some reason, I never understood that, but I also did not attempt to. The band then saw an ad to work in the studio with John Ballard, and they decided to come up with a new name, in part to avoid confusion with a band that had the same name and was kind of hated. That's going to come up again. They became Ace of Base in 1991, allegedly after Ulf was inspired by a Motorhead song called Ace of Spades. He said, "The name came out of a hangover I had on New Year's Day. So I was hungover watching MTV and I saw Motorhead's video for their song Ace of Spades. I liked the name and I thought I'd play around with those words. We're 4 members in this band, so I thought, good, 4 aces. I'll keep the ace. Then I thought of our studio and how it's our base."
God, that's terrible.
Yep.
Also strange. That's the second mention of the Ace of Spades in 3 episodes. We talked about it on the animal rights episode.
No,
really don't remember. You shred it and burn it.
I shred it and burn it. Heavy metal was really big in Sweden at the time, so this band was not popular at all. They had a lot of difficulty getting a recording contract. Telegram Records recorded Wheel of Fortune, but then Mega Records bought the master tape and ended up signing the band. Wheel of Fortune made it onto Gothenburg's very specific Jockeytoppen chart. It did not do well at all, so Mega focused on Denmark, which did not have the heavy metal thing, and they thought maybe pop will do better there, and the song ended up making it to number 2 on the charts in Denmark. Now,
which is like, what, 11 people?
Right. But 10 of them heard it, so that's good.
We all like it.
Exactly. They sent a demo of a song called Mr. Ace to a producer named Dennis Pop, who hated it. However, Garrett, he listened to it in his car on a tape, and that tape got stuck in the cassette player in his car, so he had to listen to it incessantly, and eventually he just gave in and said, I guess I work with this band now.
Did that happen?
It did happen. He had already thrown out their record contract details because, again, he did not like them at first, but luckily the band followed up with him. They called him, and he had him record the song as All That She Wants. I don't know how Mr. Ace translates into All That She Wants, but they recorded the album Happy Nation. Came out in 1992, I believe, and was huge in Europe. Problem is, Mega Records didn't have any distribution deals in the US, so Clive Davis of Artista Records heard the song while he was on a yacht and signed them in the US.
Clive Davis, musical genius.
Yeah, also yacht enthusiast. Right. They retitled Happy Nation as The Sign and added a couple more commercial songs, including The Sign, and it was a hit in the US. Now, we will discuss how big of a hit it was at the end, but Garrett, now they're a hit in the US, and that's when things start coming out.
Coming out? What do you mean?
A Swedish newspaper uncovered that Ulf was a member of a racist skinhead gang as a 13 to 16-year-old and was possibly harboring some racist beliefs to the present day. He was also in a band called...
Who was it? Who wasn't, though, right?
He was also in a band called Commit Suicide. Now, Ulf insisted this was a new wave music band without any political touch or agenda. However, according to Vice.com and a series of articles I read, they seem pretty sure that Commit Suicide was a Nazi punk band that sang a song with the lyrics translated from the original Swedish, if I may.
Do you have to?
I do have to. Men in white hoods march down the road. We enjoy ourselves when we're sawing off, and I'm going to use the Swedish here. Heads.
Oh.
Immigrants, we hate you. Out, out, out. Nordic people, wake up now. Shoot, 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 shoot. So this came out in like 90 something, and I believe it was titled Ulf Was a Nazi, and it's this big expose. Now they allege that there were two bands in Sweden at this time called Commit Suicide. Ulf insists he was in the non-racist one.
No, we were in the kind one. The kind
Right,
Commit
sure.
Suicide.
But the song that I just read was released by a Swedish record label on a very limited edition, and the cover showed Ulf giving a Nazi salute. Now, Ulf again kind of denied this.
It was ironic.
Sure. Now, Ulf denied this, of course, but then in a 1997 documentary, he said, I told everyone I really regret what I did. I've closed that book. He would later say, I've always been deeply regretful of that period in my life as I strive to bring happiness to people, and during that period I did not live up to that standard. I'm truly sorry for any hurt and disappointment that this has caused for our fans, and I really hope that we clearly have stated that Ace of Base never shared any of these opinions and strongly oppose all extremist opinions on both the right and the left. Now, I never found a fully conclusive answer as to how involved he was with this punk band, but based on his apologies and his very specifically worded apologies and his half admissions that he was at least a neo-Nazi as a youth, I will argue that there's at least some degree of there. The reason I will argue that there's some there is because I believe that a fair amount of the material on this album, and I mean, when I say a fair amount of the material, I mean approximately 9 of the songs, could be read from the perspective of somebody who, said
Nazi
nicely,
sympathizer.
wants to preserve Swedish culture to the exclusion of, let's say, the
Others.
outsider. Yes.
The other, the proverbial other.
Right.
To be defined at a later date.
The international Jew.
Oh no. God, somebody said that. Who said that?
Henry Ford.
I mean, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, he was a real monster.
They had a book titled that, right?
Well, it was more
There
of a
it is.
pamphlet.
I might throw up. That caught me off guard.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful. Boy, I'm going to try to play devil's
Right,
advocate.
let's defend the Nazis. Go ahead.
You're not making this easy.
I'm not trying to.
Oh, okay. As long as we're on the same page. Okay, let me say this. I think this is a decent statement. Losing confidence by the second. But 13 to 16, you are by no means the 13 to 16-year-old you were.
Absolutely not. But I also don't know if he was a part of that particular band called Commit Suicide. I don't know when that was recorded. And I will say this, the person giving the Nazi salute on the cover, if it is Ulf, to me looks older than 16.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. Last time I'll try to defend this guy. Defend is the wrong word. Okay, well, I just realized I'm walking into something here. What I was thinking is that beyond that, he never seemed to have any sort of Nazi tendencies, so it is reasonable to take him at his word that he turned over a new leaf. Happens all the time. I saw American History X. Edward Norton turned over a new leaf, Tim.
He did, but Garrett, Ethan Suplee did not. He's
Sure,
the Ethan
and he paid
Suplee.
the consequences. Oh,
No, Ethan
no.
Suplee did fine. Suplee?
The big dude. He did. What do you mean he did fine?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a rural neo-Nazi.
Well, sure, but he got away with it.
Sure, but at the end of the day,
Let
that's
me
only gonna take
read
us
you
so
another
far.
quote.
God damn it.
From Ulf. I have not been involved in violence or political activism in the past 25 years. This was said in 2013. However, I find some of my thoughts from those days nauseating to myself today.
Okay. Listen, I'm not debating whether or not that's him saluting, giving the Nazi salute on the cover of that anti-everyone song. That's him, allegedly. But probably not, but also definitely.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
According
I've wrapped all
to
of
the
this.
Huffington Post and
Sure.
Vice.com,
Yes.
not according to us, I I
I'm
don't
not
know.
saying it.
Right, yep.
You're not saying it. People are saying it. Batman said it. Yogi thought it.
Yogi did
But
not
we're
think
not
that.
saying
Do not sue my dog.
Please sue that dog. Shockingly wealthy. Okay.
There's
moving
another
on from
song
that.
called Do Not Touch Our Country on this album.
No, there is not.
There is. There's another one
Oh, there-
called White Power Black Skull Slaughter.
Oh, I thought you were saying on this album. The
Oh,
sign.
sorry. No. No, but there are songs that are approximately that. Happy Nation, for example. We'll get there.
Well, we're going to get to Happy Nation. That is a tough song on this album, but we can't jump the gun. Listen, all I'm hearing, Tim, is somebody who used to be, at a minimum, a Nazi sympathizer.
Allegedly.
Who has turned over a new leaf.
Allegedly.
Well, see, that's where you and I might differ.
Well, we'll get into the lyrics of this song. I'm going to argue that in 1993, that leaf had not yet turned. And also, possibly, he infected the rest of these guys. Anyway, Garrett, in 1994, Jenny Bergereden went to her parents' house to stay, and she woke up in the middle of the night, and there was a German lady in her room holding a knife to her throat.
Whoa, my God.
Yeah, she was a big fan. Anyway, didn't kill her. I don't really know how that ended. That was kind of all they told me about that. I interviewed Jenny. The band was really tired from the constant touring for the sign and the knife threats and the potential racism. They turned down performing at Madison Square Garden in the Big Apple. They turned down promotional campaigns for things like Pepsi and Reebok. And they decided, originally it was just Joker and Ulf, aka Buddha, writing all the songs. And they decided to have everyone contribute to songwriting for their second album, The Bridge, released in 1995, which veered a bit more away from the reggae and poppy dancey stuff on the first album and was partially produced by Why I Hate This Album superstar Max Martin. They released Flowers, their third album, in 1998 with some Motown and gospel influences. Probably should have done that album. The US version featured a different track list and was renamed Cruel Summer, which is weird.
I wonder if they covered Cruel Summer.
I don't know. Did not bother after the Nazi stuff.
I honestly didn't know they made a third album.
Oh yeah, they've got a couple more albums coming, don't worry. Lynn took more of a backseat on this one. She had damaged her voice, she kind of hated being famous, and she was terrified of flying, so the band made her picture blurry on all the promotional artwork to signify that she was going to have less of a role, which is weird.
That's super petty.
Yep, they released the album Da Capo in 2002. Lynn only did one show for that tour, and that ended up being her last ever public appearance. She kind of Meg Whited it. The band went on hiatus in 2003. Jenny did Christian music. They recorded some new music that was ultimately scrapped. They would eventually reunite as a trio in Russia in 2007 before doing a world tour in 2008 to 2009. Ulf and Joker released a new album called The Golden Ratio with two new lady singers, one of whom was recruited from Swedish American Idol. While Ulf was a guest judge on that show, that seems sketchy. I don't know if it was, allegedly. Jenny was basically forced out, and the quote is, Jenny wasn't happy with plans to introduce a new member, and while she never formally quit the group, they felt as if they had no choice but to proceed without her. So they just sort of stole the band from her.
Calling her.
Yep. The Golden Ratio is their last album, although they intermittently release old but previously unreleased material, new compilations, including Garrett, what we should have done, a 2020 12-disc box set. It's unclear who that's for, but we instead of doing...
Or what's on it.
Right. And my point is, instead of doing 12 songs, we could have done 12 discs.
But what's on it?
I don't know.
It's just 16 tracks on 12 discs of different remixes of the sign.
Quite possibly. Garrett LaFace.
And a hearty Shia LaBeouf to you. Great history, Tim. So much information none of us expected. The Nazi stuff is damning. I'm going to come from the perspective that the likely true, but also alleged, he put it behind him, and that this album is mostly not Nazi propaganda.
Okay.
You can take the opposite.
Well, so I will fully say, if you're listening, I believe you've turned over a new leaf. I believe you are a changed man. I do not believe you have engaged in political or other violence in the past 25 years, possibly 30 at this point. 100% on board with that. The problem I have is I believe that leaf turned over after this album.
Okay, well, you're going to have to state your case, and I'm excited to hear it. But before we do, let's get a little bit of the groundwork out of the way. I feel like we've already waded up to our waists in general thoughts, so I guess we can just say let's keep it going. We've now done a wide variety of music styles and just a shit ton of albums at this point. I have to say, on a whole, production, quality, talent, this was a delight.
Yeah, this is well produced. Well,
really well produced. Uniquely produced.
It is uniquely produced. It is very of a time, and it's very, very specific. But
yeah,
the production
unless you're going to go on to make a series of Gwen Stefani albums, I don't really think, or more specifically, a series of No Doubt albums, like you're not going to hear anything that resembles this sound again.
Right. I mean, there is a lot of stuff on this. You mentioned Gwen Stefani and then took it back to No Doubt. I think there's a lot of stuff on here that has a link to Lobster Asshole Martini Baby, as well as like Katy Perry and some of the other kind of mid-2000s, even early 2010s pop that we've done.
Because I can hear a lot of borrowing from like early 90s R&B and dance music.
Oh, absolutely.
Which we'll get into.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, we might have found a bit of a missing link here, Tim, that this does help build the bridge. I like the Katy Perry call out. Who else did you say?
The Lobster Asshole Martini Baby.
Yeah, you're right. And that might be the most direct link because we can, I mean, for sure, you can hear the weird, well, for No Doubt, it's a ska influence, which is just reggae by way of assholes in Converse and horn-rimmed glasses with some horns, but it's still kind of the same basic stealing.
Sure.
And then we end up with the Lobster Martini asshole version, which... Because of you, I have no idea what the real name of that album is.
I think you know. Lobster Asshole Martini, baby.
Perfect. What else do we need to say about this in general thoughts before we get to the song by song?
In all honesty, for this one, I'd really like to get to the song by song as probably as quick as possible. I will say there's a really strange thread on this. There is a remarkable amount of time spent on time travel on this album. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did.
I didn't really include it in my main theme for what I think the album is about, which is, of course, a celebration of white supremacist extremism, anti-immigration sentiments, etc. But it is a really odd through line on here. Maybe they want to harken back to the days of it's more acceptable to Mark Wahlberg it.
Sure. I was going to have this conversation with you offline, but quite honestly, given the nature of this episode, I think it'll be more fun to have it on mics. So I had a conversation recently with a media specialist and content specialist for YouTube and various other streaming platforms that you and I leverage in order to get our episodes out there. And sometimes you and I wonder, and often the listeners wonder, and I know some of you are viewers, congratulations. We'll get you a t-shirt, find the feed. But apparently using words like extremists and what did you say, white nationalists, things of that nature, even the word rape, Tim, turns out the word rape, which I'm saying repeatedly now, gets you moved down in the algorithm because it's potentially hate speech. Did you know that? I didn't.
But that explains.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Because this person works with several large podcasts, very big podcasts. They weren't going to work with us. Don't worry. We couldn't afford it. But he was just kind of telling me, because I asked him specifically about a show that I kept hearing the word rape. They were dropping the A like you hear on a radio edit. And I was like, is that my imagination? And they're like, oh no, that's 100% a strategy because YouTube will lower you down especially if you have enough of them, they'll demonetize you just because you're using the word too much. So anyway, if you're ever wondering why our episodes get buried from time to time, and that's not the only reason, we're wildly unpopular. But if you're ever wondering why it seems as though the internet is working against us, it is. It's because of the things we say.
Also, we suspect you're working against us.
A little. Anyway. All right. Well, I won't fight you, Tim. I guess I'll just, to set the stage, musically, this is a fucking dance album.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a Europop, house, trance, reggae-infused, techno dreamscape, and minus the Nazi themes, I'm pretty into it.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I mean, it sounds like it's something that you could get over.
Okay, hold on. Now we're going to have to take a pit stop. To be clear, if in any way you can prove that these are, in fact, white nationalist anthems of power and solidarity, I will happily change to a hate. I'm just saying, with the exception of one song, I haven't heard that yet.
Is that song Young and Proud? They have a song called Young and Proud. You know what? We'll get to it. Let's do this song by song.
All right. Track number 1, All That She Wants. Get the tape, Gino. giving him cornflakes.
Oh, that's me.
Don't!
Garrett, we have pop beats, reggae-sounding synthy pianos. The vocals, though, could not sound more like 1993 if they tried.
Absolutely. I also did not remember nearly as many whistles in here as there are.
Oh, that's true, yeah. The song is, I guess, it's supposed to be about a bit of a promiscuous young lady?
Yep, there is hints of promiscuity.
Sure.
I took it a slightly different direction. Let's get some lyrics out of the way and maybe pitch some theories real quick. I can tell you and I are just champing at the bit to get into these. Song opens, she leads a lonely life. She leads a lonely life. When she woke up late in the morning light and the day had just begun, she opened up her eyes and thought, oh, what a morning. It's not a day for work. It's a day for catching sun. Just lying on the beach and having fun. She's gonna get ya. She's gonna get ya.
She's setting up a trap. She's just lounging around, hanging out, enticing you with the siren song of those sun-kissed tits. That's Joker's words, of course, not mine. But it's a trap, and she's gonna get you.
I'm sorry, did you say sun-kissed tits?
Yes.
Make it a shirt, Gino! Yeah, no, I'm pretty much there. Only thing I'll add to your assessment, Tim, to your SKTs, is I kind of got the vibe of a Dirty Rotten Scoundrels situation. Grifting.
Maybe.
Like,
but what is
opened
she...
up her eyes and thought, it's not a day for work, it's a day for catching tan. That is the work. She's getting out there luring in a rich young man.
Absolutely.
Or an old man.
Absolutely. But I don't know if sex, in and of itself, is the end goal here.
Oh, I don't think it is. I think she wants his stuff.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So the bait... Okay.
I don't think you've seen Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Maybe not. It's... Wait.
If not, I know what we're watching tonight after Godzilla.
Okay, so the chorus goes, all that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow, boy. All that she wants is another baby, yeah. All that she wants is another baby, yeah. And she's gone tomorrow, boy. All that she wants is another baby, yeah. All that she wants. All that she wants. Fucked me.
Gross.
It ends with Whisper singing, get over it.
All that she wants. Fucked me. Right. What do you mean, get over it? You get over it. You're the one shouting fucked me in my face.
I am whispering.
Shout whispering.
Shispering, sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think he's a mark. She wants another baby. A baby is a wallet, a Rolex, and another trip to the beach to get out those SKTs.
Maybe it might literally be a baby.
I was wondering if you were going to go there. Is she stealing babies, and if so, why?
Oh, I don't think she's stealing babies. I think she wants that sperm.
Oh,
she
making
is out
babies.
there. Yeah, she's claiming that she's on the pill. She's not on the pill.
Oof. It's better than what I've heard some of them NBA do. And
okay.
we mean
I don't believe every bit of that.
Well, when you hear what I'm about to say,
I know what you're about to say. This is very much hearsay, and I'm out.
Well, I'm just saying, some women we're not even accusing individuals. You don't have to.
You're accusing a whole population, women. That's Garrett's words, not mine.
No, that's not what I said. I said NBA
right?
are accused of pouring used condoms into their vaginas. Just saying.
Anyway, verse 2 says, so if you are in sight and the day is right, she's the hunter, you're the fox. The gentle voice that talks to you won't talk forever. It is a night for passion, but the morning means goodbye. Beware of what she's flashing in her eyes. She's gonna get you. I think it's possible she's just trying to get pregnant. She literally wants another baby. She's going out, pardon the after dark here, banging some strange in hopes of getting pregnant.
I thought you were going to say something way grosser.
No, it seemed gross to me.
No, that's not gross. I thought you were going to say getting like loaded, like dicked up or loaded up with some hot fresh seed.
No,
I don't know.
After dark. After dark.
Well, yeah, absolutely after dark.
Garrett, does it seem like there's a very disapproving?
Oh, I don't know. See, I thought it was a celebration.
I don't think so. I think it is a warning.
Oh, you know what? You're kind of right, actually. There is a bit of all that she wants is another baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait, okay, hold on. Let's make a pause there. Why? What's she doing with these babies? Does she have babies? Has she got some sort of baby brigade?
Well,
She's selling the baby?
Now, it is far too early in this album to really prove this point.
Sure.
However,
Hold on. Before you divulge something absolutely insane, I'm going to ask, is it worth holding on to till you have more evidence before you drop whatever insane... You've got a look in your face right now that says, I'm about to say something ludicrous. Are you sure you want to say it yet?
I am.
Okay.
He's disapproving of this because this is great replacement conspiracy theory nonsense.
Great replacement.
Garrett, the immigrants are coming in. Yes.
Oh my God. You've said so much without saying the actual thing. I guess great replacement theory is pretty on the nose. I'm just not familiar with hate speech, so it took me a moment. Had to translate it into, extinguishing people or having some sort of population off. off. It's a fuck off. It's a fuck off.
I mean, it literally is, but it's also complete bullshit, of course, and it's horrifically dangerous because this is what leads to, marching with tiki torches and shooting up New Zealand. The point being, it's not 100% evident in this song, but I think that the disapproving tone, coupled with the sentiments in at least 3 other songs on this album, coupled with some things I noted in the history,
historical facts,
historical allegations, conjecture from Vice.com and also the Huffington Post, not from us. To be clear, we're not saying this, but
we're
I think
never saying it.
It might be some sort of anti-immigration sentiment.
God, you're dead on. That is the kind of like weird sentiments. They come over here and they procreate and they're just trying to outnumber us. Like it's some sort of like Trojan horse of the womb.
Yeah, it's very dog whistly.
It's just very crazy. It's like, listen, I understand. I can't believe we're going to have this conversation. It'll be short, I promise. I understand that you can't just let everybody into the country that wants to come in, like at least not like all at once. There's got to be some order to that, some rhyme or reason. But I got to say, Tim, in the illegal immigration debate, both sides, like when I've thought about it just as objectively as humanly possible, no matter which side you come down on, I've never once even considered that there was an elaborate conspiracy to have as many other kids of other races to outnumber my race. Who thinks like that?
Nazis, Garrett. Nazis.
God damn it. God damn it. I'm just proving your point. All right, well, I'm willing to say that's possible. I'm also willing to say this is a lighthearted song about a woman who just wants to get it wet, Tim, and there's nothing wrong with that. We are a very sex-positive podcast.
Okay, well, I will say this. We're probably not going to discuss the second time they play this exact same song, but I feel like so at the beginning of this album, they've structured it so that at the beginning of the album, you hear this song and you think it's a very sex-positive song. And then they throw in some other ideas and everything just starts settling a little bit and you start to get a little unsettled. And then when it comes around the second time,
you hear the message.
It's in a very different light. You're radicalized, Garrett. It's like if you are to just let YouTube go and just let whatever video comes up come up.
Yeah, that's a dangerous game.
Well, it's not really dangerous. It leads in one very specific direction. Anyway, I think we should move on. Garrett, track number 2, Don't Turn Around.
Don't turn around, 'cause you're gonna see my heart break. Don't turn
Shaky start, Tim. We're one song in, and you've already ruined probably what I already would have said is the best song. So let's see if you can ruin the second best song.
Garrett, I'm not gonna, because this song is free from all criticism. Our Girl Is Back. This is a Diane Warren original.
Yeah, it is. Oh, didn't she co-write it, I thought?
Yeah, she did. But I don't care about the other person. The point is, Garrett, Diane Warren is really not that interested in sports. She does not seem to be impressed that somebody might know Tom Brady, or at least a guy that looks like Tom Brady.
What a weird flex. This is my friend Tom. He looks like and has a similar name to Tom Brady. Are you impressed? Okay.
Yeah. It does start off like it's going to be a cake song, though, with I Will Survive Without You.
Oh, yeah. Back to the reggae beat. As you mentioned, Diane Warren song. Oh, this is the same writing duo that brought you Starships, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Oh, gross.
This, to my ear, might be the happiest sounding breakup song ever.
Yeah, it's like a country love song that's trying to put a twist on it, you know? She's leaving, but there's going to be a twist at the end, and I don't think there is.
Oh, I thought he was leaving.
Right, no, I'm just the
really
typical
matter.
Country song, yeah, agreed.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice a twist.
No, that's what I'm saying. And the twist never comes. Like in a country song, this would have an ironic ending.
Oh, yeah. No, this is just kind of the same thing repeated. The song opens, "Don't tell me that you want to leave. Whoa, 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 whoa. If you want to leave, I won't beg you to stay. And if you want to go, darling, maybe it's better that way." Pause. I happen to agree with Diane Warren and Ace of Base here. If you don't want to be in the relationship, I've never understood people that actively try to convince that person to stay.
Yeah, just immediately take your leave.
Or if you have some sort of weird need for that person, maybe it's a... Boy,
maybe she's a incredibly successful schlocky songwriter who has never found true love. love.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you can string them along for some, undisclosed amount of time and then break up with them on your terms so that you have the power. But if you're in a real relationship and you care about that person, the moment they're like, hey, this isn't working out, I'm like, all right, let me get your suitcase because I do not want to be around somebody that does not want to be around me. Like, it would taint it going forward, right?
I mean, listen, here's the thing. You can have a good friend and you trick him into doing a podcast with you or something, and at some point, neither of you wants to be there anymore. Just
Yeah, but
kinda
that's different.
Responsible for a bunch of interns. It's like,
Yeah, you got a whole ecosystem that you're responsible for. You can't walk away from something
Yeah.
like that. Go to as many lawyers as you want, and you find me one that will do a podcast divorce. You won't.
that's true.
But you'll find a dozen that'll do a marriage divorce.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Anyway, yeah, again, it's just a breakup song about how you'll be okay. It's sort of is it a female empowerment anthem?
Ooh, I don't know, because let's go a little further before we answer that question. Good question. So she says, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be fine. Don't worry about this heart of mine. Walk out that door. See if I care. Go on and go, but. And at that point, I'd say, yes, of course, female empowerment. Look at her. She's strong. She's independent. She doesn't need a man. For all we know, it could be a lady. I don't know. But you get to that chorus, and she says, don't turn around, because you're going to see my heart breaking, which is natural. Being strong doesn't mean your feelings can't get hurt. Don't turn around. I don't want you seeing me cry. All right, she's a little weaker. Just walk away. It's tearing me apart that you're leaving. I'm letting you go, but I won't let you know. I won't let you know. So that's silly to me. I don't understand that. I'm thinking maybe do me the dignity of crying alone, or even worse, if you were to change your mind, if you did turn around, I'm not sure I'd be able to say no.
Yeah, I think it's mostly just you don't want to give that person the satisfaction of knowing that they've hurt you.
Yeah, which is weird. That's like not admitting that you were sleeping when someone calls. What do you?
Oh, I
what do
get
you
both of those.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, never caught Tim sleeping.
Nope. I
let's
don't
see.
sleep.
Song
That's why.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's true. Song continues. I wish I could scream out loud that I love you. I wish I could say to you, don't go. And I wanted to pause there because, Tim, you have the unique ability, more than any person I've ever met on the entire planet. Tim, if you are like, you know what? Fuck you, buddy. And Tim says, fuck you, buddy. That is it. Mm-hmm. Tim, you can cut somebody out better than any person I've ever met.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it hurts you to the core, cuts you to the quick.
I am incredibly prideful. And unless I have a
and
legal
stoic.
obligation to continue making a podcast every week, I will abandon somebody. Just like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or if that person doesn't make several personal concessions, one of which is sleeping in the same room as you. I want to be clear, it's not like you're getting nothing out of this.
That's true. I do get to sleep close to you.
As he walks away, he feels the pain getting strong. People in your life, they don't know what's going on. Too proud to turn around. He's gone.
It's odd because now she's accusing him of being too proud when it's clear she's also too, like they're both, here's the ironic part though,
It's a
right?
big misunderstanding.
Right. But again, it doesn't have that country song twist where there's like a little cherry on top where it becomes clever or something. It's just two people who are too proud to like turn around.
Yeah, which I would argue is more realistic. People are stupid.
Worst song though.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. Let's see here. Neither wanted to break up. Big misunderstanding. No one backed down. Should mention that whole bit that I just read by a very disturbing Nordic man.
Oh yeah.
As he walks away, he feels the pain getting strong.
It's like they're both too proper and also like there's some sort of like you imagine the person that's reading it has some sort of skull-based defect that is affecting the way they are speaking.
Skull-based defect? Like a soft palate issue? What do you mean?
No, I mean like you see them and you can't be sure if it's like a motorcycle accident did that or maybe it was like a surgery, like an emergency surgery.
Right.
There's like a chunk of
Either way, there was swelling. And they had to relieve it. I see. Okay. Well, in this song, the chorus happens about 3 more times, and that's kind of it. Is there anything else you got?
Nope.
Track number 3, the now slightly different sounding to my ear, Young and Proud.
Yeah, so this is super synthy. It sounds like it belongs in a Tron movie.
Yeah, I liked it. Opens with a nice dance beat.
Sure, you like this, but I would argue it's pretty hard not to interpret as an ode to fascism and a pledge to march against invading hordes of immigrants.
I thought it was about a group of street kids who had a
Yep.
collection of sugar mamas and sugar daddies that were taking care of their needs.
No, it's about the street kids, but they're protecting their neighborhood against unwelcomes.
Okay, well, we'll litigate it. Let's
Sure.
break it down. Why don't you take us through it, Timbo?
Verse 1, we're much too young and life's so big, we don't yet know what the future brings. In its hands for us, what tomorrow brings, the future knows. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, we are united, young and proud, we are marching on the same side as destiny, United, young and proud, marching on the same side of destiny. Nazis.
Yeah, I also want to point out that verse in particular made me laugh every single time because it comes off like they're literally making the song up as they go.
If they're making it up, that just means they've got Nazi sentiments that they didn't have to think about. They're just flowing out of them.
Subconscious Nazism. Well, okay, I'm not ready to hop on the Nazi bandwagon with you just
Really?
yet.
So you're not ready to jump on the Nazi bandwagon when we're talking about a song called Young and Proud that repeatedly talks about them marching on the same side of destiny.
You could say all the same things about a Halsey song, so just back up.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing. Halsey had all that talk about some sort of youth brigade and them pledging fealty to her. This man, I have seen a photo allegedly of him pledging allegiance to not himself, but to a man, let's just say, who had slightly darker plans than Halsey.
Rhymes with
10%.
Adolf Hitler.
It does. I mean, the rest of the song, for me, it's somewhat uninteresting. I mean, it's very repetitive.
Honestly, I couldn't figure it out. So I'll read a little bit of it because I'm curious if you had any sort of understanding. They say, anyway, you do it wrong. I'm calling out your name, but you never hear me. And then they repeat that like 68 times. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either.
I assumed that no matter what you say, no matter what you do, we are united, young and proud.
Yeah, no
what gave
matter,
me the idea?
it doesn't matter what your political affiliations are. It doesn't matter what your particular thoughts are. In the end, you are one of us, and you must band together with us,
And what you're doing is wrong. You must join the side of destiny.
Right.
I'm giving you my love, though it's never for sale. I'm not going to bend to your beliefs. You can have my love, but you must pledge allegiance to my Führer.
Right.
Then it goes on for quite literally 2 minutes before the song fades out like an Amir song. I'm going to give you a half point on this one, Tim. It did feel slightly fascistic. I'm going to get there. Don't you help me. Fascistic.
In your
Cheap
defense,
chick in the city.
I have been doing a lot of thinking about the concept this week because I did the history.
Yeah, and explain some of the goose stepping to and from the kitchen. I thought you were
It's
just
honestly,
doing it to
it's
irritate
kind
me.
of a little, it's addictive. You
can
start
see
doing
that.
it once as a goof, and it's a very economical
way to walk.
way to get around. Yes, I think we're saying the same things.
I doubt it. Track number 4, The Sign. Undeniably catchy, extremely well produced.
Sure.
Also kind of an odd song.
It is.
If you've ever heard an Ace of Base song, it's this one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's get a little bit into it before we can describe what's going on. Song opens, I got a new life. You would hardly recognize me. I'm so glad. How could a person like me care for you? Why do I bother when you're not the one for me? Ooh, is enough enough? And let's pause. So it sounds like she's running into a person that she used to be close to or potentially with, and she's made a decision. She's changed her life and she's no longer with this person.
Right. She feels too good for whomsoever this person is.
Right. Now, immediately, the easy read is, ex-lover, somebody who was a bad influence, maybe some sort of drug doer, some sort of illegal substancer.
Yeah, that's possible.
Interesting. I chose, rather than the obvious and worn-out drug of choice of heroin, I think this song is about a woman who used to be addicted to Sonoran desert toads.
Oh, that's perfectly possible. The other thing, of course, if I may just interject here,
Sure.
is
What do you
that
have?
this is a person who was previously, we'll say, more open-minded, dating, maybe a person of color or somebody that was maybe not a Swedish national.
No way! Oh my God.
And now
I
that
thought you
they
were going to
have
say she
joined,
ran into
now that
Go
they
ahead.
have joined a group, now that they have seen the sign,
an organization.
right? Now you look back and you think, how could a person like me care for you?
Almighty. That is dark. I was hoping if you were going to insist on all this white power business, that it was going to be she used to date the Nazi and she ran into him and was like, oh, I'm glad I'm not with you anymore.
Oh, that could
No,
be too.
you-
This could be the rest of the band, the Bergeren siblings and whatnot, trying to desperately, possibly trying to out Ulf in his Nazi past. Maybe this whole album is them. They found out about it way too deep into the recording process, and he was far too deep into the band, and he was too integral a member. They couldn't just get rid of him, but they wanted to be very clear that they knew when they were trying to get it out. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen, there's a photo of, it's a prisoner of war in the Vietnam War, and they take a picture of him and he's all smiles. You know, they're trying to make him look like he's doing just fine there. And so he's just flicking off the camera because they had no idea what that symbol meant.
Oh, yeah.
That this whole album might be their middle finger trying to get it past Ulf.
I see. No, I doubt that. I think it's probably the racist stuff.
Yeah.
Or the not racist stuff that I came up with.
Sure. It could be about licking toads.
Yo, side note on that, by the way, glad you brought that back up. Sonoran desert toads, very hallucinogenic, very dangerous. Don't do it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If you want hallucinogens, stick to your mushrooms, or if you have a chemist that you trust, there's all sorts of stuff that can be made. The point is...
Oh my God.
Well, no, I'm just saying...
Well, sure, neither of us could say specifically, having never done illicit drugs, but
we are fans of chemistry.
absolutely. Huge fans. Organic. It's the only one I know. Is there other kinds?
Inorganic.
Inorganic. Both of them. Science. Let's see. Song continues. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Life is demanding without understanding. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. Could be a vision on a massive trip after getting one of those toads in your mouth, or maybe they ran out and she had to go to just like a random pet store and just started licking frogs and was like, good God, this is my rock bottom. Licking
Interesting.
lizards.
Yeah, I mean, we've all licked a lizard or two.
Sure.
It goes on, though. I saw the sign, no one's going to drag you up to get into the light where you belong, but where do you belong? And this is dragging somebody out into the light. Maybe, I mean, again, it may be the rest of the song. Maybe Ulf submitted a series of songs with questionable messages on them, and they saw the sign and they said, listen, your shit's really, it's really catchy. It's so catchy that we have to produce it because we're going to make some money on it. But we're saying
We're going to change some of these hate-filled lyrics.
or we're not going to. No one's going to drag you out into the light where you belong. We just want you to know we know what you're up to.
Yeah. And where do you belong? Hell. Wow. It's starting to come together, Tim. I saw the sign. I saw the sign. Track number 5. Living in Danger.
I see lies in the eyes of a stranger.
This is a serious quality drop from the first 4 songs.
Absolutely. It is front loaded.
Yeah, when we get to number 5, this song opens with a man speaking. It's through the classic telephone filter we all know and love. He says, live for yourself. It's a wonderful thing. You can do what you want. You can live in a dream. Get up, get in, get the rhythm, get down. Great.
Yeah.
That is setting the stage for a very disappointing song that I argue is about saying no to peer pressure.
Could be.
You're living your life in peace and in harmony. You making your own decisions. That's how it ought to be for you and me. So many people are running around and round without any sense of logic. I mean, that pretty much sounds like make your own decisions. Don't go along with the crowd. Avoid that peer pressure. A lot of people are running around not knowing what to do, but you've got your head together.
I see lies in the eyes of a stranger. Whoa. You'll be living in danger. I will say this. It seems to be demonizing the outgroup and the stranger.
God damn it. Oh my God. Don't be influenced by outside opinions. innocence. I see lies in the eyes of a stranger. You can do what you want. You can live in a dream. You'll be living in danger. Oh my God, Tim. This is starting to add up.
Yeah, Joker said the song's about living on your own and said, don't trust people too much, you'll do better on your own. And his sister agreed with you and said it was about social pressure to engage in dangerous behaviors like smoking and drinking.
Oh, okay. So it is kind of about giving into peer pressure.
Maybe.
Or outside. We'll just say outside influences.
Right.
Tim, when was the last time you gave into peer pressure?
I mean, the last time I was peer pressured?
Well, that was this morning.
Oh, yeah, then this morning. What happened this morning? Maybe they made me think it was my idea.
The Cheerios.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you didn't need to eat all those.
They were
I was
good, though.
Just seeing how... Absolutely. Everybody loves Honey Nut Cheerios, but like, it was arguably stupid to see how many Cheerios you could swallow at one time without chewing.
The smart thing would have been to incorporate milk.
Well, sure, but that's not a challenge.
True. People are the same today as they used to be. The same expectations. So high. No one can reach that high. Nor I nor you get satisfied today. We never get enough.
Any thoughts?
I don't really know.
The best I got is that when they're saying so high, no one can reach that high, maybe they're saying if you do give into that peer pressure and you do start doing the drugs, you'll always be chasing that first high and no one can get that high and you'll never be satisfied.
Sure,
But
we'll go with
it also
that.
could just be about living up to other people's expectations.
Who knows, man?
Yeah, you know what? Who cares? Mercifully, at the minute and 30-second mark, there's literally no new lines in the song. You're just hear the chorus for 2 minutes straight. And that brings us to track number 6, Dancer in a Daydream. Electronic dance song. Reminds me a little bit of a song called Be My Lover by a band known as La Bouche. No reason you should know that. Yeah, I only know that song because I'm a big fan of Night at the Roxbury. And that song's in there.
Fair enough.
In fact, a lot of the music that I enjoy from Night at the Roxbury felt like it was kind of on this album. So
Yeah.
that was useful.
I mean, for this, clearly, even fascist sympathizers get horny.
Absolutely, Tim. They're in a procreation race. If anything, there should be state-mandated pornography.
No,
Yeah,
no,
pornography.
no, Garrett.
What?
You want to
How are you supposed to get all jazzed up to keep making the
sorry,
baby?
let me ask you a question, and this is going to be a personal question.
Yes, I've probably painted an odd picture. Please ask.
Do you require pornography in your lovemaking?
No, but I sure as heck prefer it.
Fair enough. All right.
No, I'm kidding. I realize now that I was only thinking about solo work.
Let me ask you a follow-up question, Garrett. Do you understand how reproduction occurs?
Not entirely.
Fair enough.
But
This song is a pretty gross way to describe sex. Not as gross as what you just said, but pretty gross.
interesting. Okay, let's get into it. After they say what an odd situation 3 times in a row, the first verse is, what you got is basic emotions. Can you feel them? I want to be your lover, but you're so shy. What you need is perfect assistance. Let me guide you to a land you've never seen before.
That's gross.
Ecstasy.
Maybe. It's a gross way of describing sex, or it's at least a confusing way of describing sex, but this to me comes across as a Swede trying to groom someone in a second language that is not like...
Yeah, it does have a lot of like, with the exception of, God, I can't defend this. I'm sorry. It's gross. Yeah. What you've got is basic emotions. Can you feel them? Ugh. I want to be your lover, but you're so shy. Also, I'm not going to ask you, Tim. I'll just state for myself. If I am having sex with another person, if you are my partner, my sexual partner, do not refer to yourself as my lover.
Hard disagree.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Add it to the IUC. Tim prefers to be referred to by his lover as lover. Now, do you use it like almost like a proper noun or like a nickname? So if, let's say you two are making pasta for the evening, do they say, excuse me, lover, could you hand me the salt? I instantly get sultry when I say lover.
I prefer it be used completely in place of my name.
Wow. Exclusively?
Not exclusively, but you know.
Mostly.
Mostly.
Oh, gross. Song continues. I guess you see I have another daydream. I guess you see that I have another daydream. And now, Tim, this is where things start to clarify for me. Rather than somebody grooming someone, teaching them how intercourse works, it might be somebody that has particular tastes or fantasies. And so they're grooming them, but this is not somebody that is new to intercourse. This is somebody new to their weird daydream.
Yeah, it's odd because it feels like they're asking for permission to fantasize about somebody. It's
You don't need that.
your words, not mine. I'm saying that there's some sort
You
of.
don't. Also, don't. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute.
I prefer to
So-
be informed. Yes,
Oh my god!
I just-
was that consensual fantasizing?
it's not so much.
What happens if they have a dream?
It's not so much about it being a consensual fantasizing. It's more of like a reverse masturbatory vampire. They're literally not allowed unless they are given permission.
But that's not true.
Maybe for them it is.
Oh, for them maybe. Sure, but
You're
really.
revealing
not
a
to
lot
me.
of. Okay, all right.
I can fantasize about anybody I want.
But I mean, ask them first, man.
No. Hey, I'm gonna be having dirty thoughts to you later. Is that okay?
See, that's the problem. You don't announce it and then ask if it's okay. You ask first, say, listen, I find you attractive, and I suspect, given your permission, my fantasies later today will be filled with images of you, fleeting though they may be, and I want to make sure that before I go down this road, that you are okay with it, that you are giving me your full consent for me to fantasize.
Listeners, you must write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. What is your reaction to that speech? That is insane and fascinating and weirdly the direction this entire society's headed. So I'm amused and terrified that you might be predicting the future. Could you imagine getting it's consent. It's masturbatory. Well, it's not even masturbatory. That's the thing. They're fleeting. You hit on it. Like, it's just a fleeting thought. Like, oh, she was attractive. And then you might think about what she looks like in her underpants. That's all. That's all we're talking about here. But you'd get consent first.
I'm speaking almost entirely on this episode for Ulf and to a lesser degree Joker.
I'm asking you.
Well, of
Do you
course.
seek
Of
permission?
course, yes.
Okay, that's what I figured.
But I mean, here's the thing. The best thing is just don't fantasize about people you know. No good can come from that.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fair. I don't think you should fantasize about people you know.
Well, how are you going to ask if you don't know them?
Exactly. That's my point. You're not, because that's insane. Hi there. I just saw you across the restaurant. I'll just be a moment. I'm going to be thinking dirty thoughts later, and I would like them to feature you, but I would feel like a real piece of shit if I didn't ask your permission first. Ladies, write in. What do you say? Did I just hit on you, or are you calling the police? I think the latter.
Yes.
No, Tim thinks it's a sweet move. Is this how you're hitting on people? This is disgusting.
I don't go around hitting on people, Garrett.
I would pay $2,000 to watch you earnestly hit on a woman.
No.
Oh, no, I don't expect you to take this deal.
Oh, okay.
It would only work if I knew you didn't know I was watching.
Oh, sure.
Like that time I would follow you on your dates.
That
and
only
then you caught me.
Okay.
So many times. Okay, let's see. Back to the song at hand. They say, oh, right, come and be a dancer. Dance into my daydream. Join me in a daydream wet and wild. To help another person will make you feel important. You've got my invitation, but you're so shy. It seems like somebody who is inexperienced, but maybe this is a lady with rooms or like a studio for workshopping things. She did say fantasy, daydream.
Yeah, it's unsettling is what it is.
I like that she changes tact when she's like, to help another person will make you feel important. Like, listen, if you're not going to do it for your penis, do it to feel better about yourself. Just treat it like charity.
Yeah.
Help me take control of my foolish imagination. I'm looking for a man who can match my situation. She needs somebody who's equally as weird and like scenarios or maybe risky sexual behavior as much as she does.
Or perhaps doesn't like something that she doesn't like.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, maybe it's not weird or anything. Maybe she's a missionary Mary and he's just like...
Sorry, let me rephrase. Maybe doesn't like a group of people that she doesn't like.
Shit. The problem is that like what you're saying is very like provable in the words.
Yeah, sound.
Right. Outro is what you gonna do. I'm a bold explosion. Oh, also, before we move on, did you happen to notice the what are you doing stealing the Mortal Kombat song?
It is. It's as different different as the Ice Ice Baby thing that jackass did.
Dun, 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 dun. Says mine is bum 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 ba ba Great. We're gonna sue you now. Track number 7, Wheel of Fortune.
What you gonna tell your dad? It's like a wheel of fortune.
This song really feels like it was put through Google Translate back and forth from Swedish a few times, but that it wasn't a thing then.
I have more question marks in my notes to this song than any other part of this album, and there's a lot of head-scratching moments on this album.
Honestly, you could just read the lyrics of this thing and that's the bit.
I really dislike this song.
Yeah.
It's maybe my least favorite on the whole album.
Cool. Let's go through it quick then.
What you gonna tell your dad? It's like a wheel of fortune. What you gonna tell your dad if this wheel lets you down? Love, right? But who's dad? Her dad? His dad?
Unclear.
Okay.
It might not even be. This might be.
It might not be a father. It might be somebody's dad.
This might be daddy play, just from the Swedish.
Poorly translated.
Right. And they do.
Gino,
there is
what's
daddy
Swedish
play.
for daddy? He doesn't know.
He doesn't know the English for daddy. Yeah. There is daddy talk later in this. I believe it's this song. Is it this song?
Yeah, we'll get there.
It is this song.
My love is my engine, and you might be fuel. Stop acting cool. Just bet you might win. I'm not too cool. Sounds like, she's into this dude, and as long as he would just stop trying to act so goddamn cool, he might score her.
Sure, maybe. Impossible to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Job comes out of nowhere and says, "We're gonna make you move."
It's pretty great. Yeah,
it's really alarming.
I think it's probably about a relationship and like navigating whether or not to break up. Like, does she want to bang this fella? It comes off as like,
Yeah, it's bang or break up. Because she says, "Don't push me. I don't want to. Can't you see it? Fast and slowly. And don't count your chicks before they're hatched, baby."
It kind of feels like, I'm just going to throw this out. I'm just seeing this now. It kind of feels like somebody's debating taking a risk on not necessarily a person, but like
a movement.
Yes, a new organization. Listen, should you go all in on being, let's say, a member of the organization, right? Should you get the same haircut as the other boys? Should you get those boots and suspenders? Maybe should you sleep on it for a night or two? Should you leave that where you've been ordered to for Garrett?
We're gonna have to bleep that.
That's fair. Hey, you, we're gonna make your move. It tastes like steel, like a stab from a knife.
What? Also, it's a very creepy man.
Yeah, and I think it's meant to be intimidating, but again, not in the language in which it would be intimidating.
Yeah, I like that this is what our show has come to. Just the two of us trying desperately to parse nonsense. This makes no sense.
It's been that way since the J-Devil, Garrett. That was episode 1.
We get all the way to the bridge before I have any sort of clarity of what this might be about. She says, "My love is my engine, and you might be fuel. Stop acting cool. Just bet you might win. I'm not too cool. I'm in love with another fool." She likes dumb guys. That's what this is all about.
Well,
it's a wheel of chance.
Maybe, Garrett, this is about somebody that you can't recruit the smartest people. You want to recruit people that are good at following orders.
Maybe she's not part of the organization. Maybe she just seems to keep dating people that are part of the organization.
Interesting.
Fool is a cute euphemism for hate-filled monster. Yeah, I think we got there. That brings up the chorus and an outro that is basically the chorus with one different word, and that takes us all the way to track number 8, Waiting for Magic.
This song is mostly performed by robots.
Yeah, we open immediately with some synth organ and a robot that literally sings "Waiting for Magic." More dance and Europop. This one's less reggae, and I'm okay with it. It's a interpolation, another word for Snow White.
Well, sort of. I mean, it would probably go with the daughter of the sun and the 12 bewitched princes. Solen's daughter och de 12 fortolade prinsama.
You love the classics. Sure. I'll stick with Snow White. Song opens. "A man of the world, but lost in a dream. You look at something from a different angle. But I exist. I'm waiting for you. In a coffin made of glass." That was my favorite part of that song.
I do kind of like that.
In a coffin made of glass.
It's I mean, it's literally just the retelling, pretty much. It gets a
Snow
little
White.
weird in the bridge.
Yeah, it does. Let's get there. The chorus goes, "Kiss me, baby. I'm attractive, baby.
I
Get
think
to know
that's my
me."
favorite part. The kiss me, baby, I'm attractive.
Kiss me, baby. I'm attractive, baby. Get to know me. Show who you are. Tim, I might love this album.
You
Baby,
might.
I'm eternal, lying in a coffin, waiting for you. I guess technically Snow White was in a glass coffin. That's
Yes.
weird, right?
It is, yeah. Well, they thought she was dead, I think. And
Let me give you, maybe.
I don't know.
I've never seen it.
Well, so if they thought she was dead, then it's weird that they put her on display, and then it's even weirder that that man kissed that corpse. Let's
Yeah,
say
it's
they
like
didn't
Mao.
think she.
It'd be
They
like
thought she
bending
was
down
sleeping.
and kissing Mao. Don't do that. Because
I-
they have, he's preserved, isn't he?
You could do it. Yeah, you could do it with Lennon too, but you will be murdered.
Yeah, you will. Now, let me give you a slightly different interpretation, Tim. What if this is a secret vampire trap? Looks like a Snow White, bends down to give her the old sexual assault, kissing a sleeping woman that you don't know, bites his lips off.
So like a Kill Bill,
Yeah, sorta.
but less graphic.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Gross. Let's see. Song continues. In your dreams, a girl is dancing close to you. That girl is me. Once a witch made her sleep, but a prince will wake her up. It's you. Favorite part of that verse is the way it should read. In your dream, a girl is dancing close to you. Once a witch made her sleep, but a prince will wake her up. Instead, just didn't have the confidence in the metaphor, so they threw in, that girl is me. It's you. Fucked me. Hello, Mr. Thompson. And then we go to a chorus and a techno breakdown, and then they get really specific in case you're still lost. Kiss me, baby. I am Snow White, sleeping in a coffin, waiting for you. Waiting for magic, baby. I am Snow White, sleeping in a coffin. Kiss me, baby. I am Snow White, sleeping in a coffin, waiting for you. Waiting for magic, baby. I am Snow White, sleeping in a coffin, waiting for you. Believe it or not, that's not the outro. Then they do that like 16 more times.
Yeah.
Kiss me, baby. I'm attractive, baby.
I mean, it's catchy. No one's saying it's
It
not
is.
catchy. So then there's this random bridge that's tacked on that reads, you cannot reach her on the planet that the scientists want to call the Earth. But if you use your imagination, you will see her. You will find her in your dreams. You cannot reach her on the planet that the scientists want to call Earth. The fuck does that mean?
I don't know, man. Maybe this is some sort of moon Nazis.
Could be, yeah. I mean, again, this probably doesn't relate too much to the alleged supremacist themes on this album, other than, of course, this story is a royalty-free, very Northern European piece of folklore, and these types seem super into that, using like Viking mythology to represent their ethnic purity or whatever monstrosity before the mouse gets its hands on it, which it wouldn't for another 9 years. So,
I mean, it also is somewhat obvious and probably not an accident that it's Snow White and she declares how attractive and pure she is.
Yeah, okay.
Just saying. God damn it, Tim.
Yep, you're on board. Speaking of being on board, track number 9, Happy Nation.
Other people understand and dream of perfect match situation.
Wow.
Yeah, so should we read the statement what the band said this was about? I think we should.
Yeah, I think it's important to let everybody know what the band says this song is about.
Right. According to the Wikipedia entry for this song, the band has described the song, written as a response to reports of Ulf's past association with neo-Nazi skinheads, as an anti-fascist song and a hymn to life. So this song, they believe, argues against them being neo-Nazis.
And I would like to just say, I disagree.
Yeah, it definitely does the exact opposite of that. Let's get into it. We start off with some beats and some... Oh, go ahead.
Hold on. Just if I may. If you're going to start a song where you want everybody to know it's a happy anti-fascism song, I would argue they have begun it on shaky ground. May I sing the opening to this song?
Oh, please do.
Laudate omnes gentes, laudate magnificat in secula, et anima mea laudate magnificat in secula. Why, in God's name, would you begin with a Gregorian chanting?
I don't know.
In Latin.
I don't know. And to beat...
I'm having a happy, fun time.
Sure. And then, Garrett, they start to sing in English, and it gets better from there.
Well, we should probably translate the...
Oh, God. All right.
I believe it is from the original Catholic Mass, Tim, and they say, "Sing praises, all you people, sing praises, the greatest of all time, and my soul too glorifies the greatest of all time." And for those of you who want to hear it not sung like an asshole, it's "Laudate omnes gentes, laudate magnificat in secula, et anima mea laudate magnificat in secula." So already I'm having a good time.
Right. So they're glorifying the greatest of all time, and it is unclear
Who that may be.
It could be their god, their very specific god. That would be, that's sort of what the Latin implies. Although I will argue, given that this song is called Happy Nation, the greatest of all time, what they are glorifying is, of course, their nation, which is not nationalistic, to be clear.
Ooh, I like that we might be slightly off on this one, but it should build to a exciting crescendo. Song continues. Happy nation, living in a happy nation. It is grim, where the people understand and dream of perfect man.
Okay.
Situation leading to sweet salvation. Okay, we're living in a happy nation, or want to live in a happy nation. We are where the people understand the dream of a perfect man, or
We could call him
Ubermensch.
Ubermensch. Yeah, I think we should.
That's what my notes say. Situation leading to sweet salvation. And I purposely paused there. I felt like that really summed it up. We want this Ubermensch, and the way we're going to have to do that, we're going to have to get our hands dirty. Going to be a bit of a situation, but it's going to lead to sweet salvation.
Sure, yeah, we have to... It's
Genocide.
Right. It is a happy nation. The people are united. They understand the common goal, the dream of the perfect man.
So I have a problem, Tim. I kind of like this song.
It's a great song. No one's saying it's not a great song. I'm just saying that if you read the lyrics, that Rolling Stones song, pretty good song.
Sure, but it's about rape.
Right, yeah.
Sure. So what's crazy, though, is this is supposed to be the anti-Nazi song. And quite literally, of the 12 or however many fucking songs are on here, this is the one that I was like, but it's about Nazis, right?
Yes, and very much pro-so. This is the thing. You have to make all these songs at least fairly pleasing to the ear. They have to be songs that people are going to like. You can't do that screamy, hardcore punk bullshit from, let's say, American History X, because no one likes that. The point is, you have to recruit. Well, they have to, allegedly.
Jesus, so many allegedlys. Musically. I know, it's a lot to take in, so we'll pick and choose. When I hear this song and I hear the droning Happy Nation, I picture like real 1984 vibes, or that weird Christian Bale movie with the gun jujitsu. What's that called?
Yeah, the Equilibrium.
Yeah. You know, I really liked that movie when I saw it. Not so much now.
Yeah.
It's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
It's
Doesn't make any goddamn sense. The Taye Diggs is clearly feeling the whole time.
Yeah.
He's all angry and screamy. That guy's not on his Soma or whatever the fuck they call it.
Wow, you remember so much about this movie.
I don't think Soma's right. I watched this fairly recently.
Oh, what's Soma?
It's from Brave New World, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, now you guys get a brief look at what Tim and I actually talk about. It's pretty boring. Song continues. For the people, for the good, for mankind, brotherhood, we're traveling in time. This is where I have to take a left-hand turn, Tim. Sounds like time-traveling Nazis.
It does. It does. They're going back to prevent something that is bad for them.
I was going to say they were going back for the good of the nation to create a singular brotherhood of Ubermensch with one set of ideas, and I think they're using the word brotherhood wrong.
Yes, it goes on. So, ideas by man, and only that will last. Over time, we've learned from the past that no man's fit to rule the world alone. A man will die, but not his ideas. So this is, I think, what they're making the claim that this is not fascistic, because they are saying we don't want to be ruled by the one guy, you know, the one. But what they're saying in reality is we can't make the mistake of idolizing a particular guy, because that guy guy can die and then our movement falls apart. Our movement has to be based on racist
set of
ideas, not a racist individual. Yes, it's like the Christian Bale Batman. He has to be more than just a man. It has to be an
the
idea.
white supremacist they need, not the one they deserve, or something.
Possibly the opposite. Either way, Jesus Christ.
It's interesting. My notes say that they seem to be favoring a headless organization ruled by a set of ideas distributed around the world into small cells where the others don't know exactly what the others are up to.
I'm going to say this. I think you think this album is about what I think it is more than I do.
You might be right. My goodness, who wrote these notes? Let's see. There's the chorus again, and then the very perplexing, traveling in time. Tell them we've gone too far. Tell them we've gone too far. Happy nation, come through and I will dance with you. Happy nation. I think the tell them we've gone too far is all that time traveling. They've created basically just one type of person. There's one man, one lady, and they all have the same likes and dislikes, and it's dreadfully boring.
So what they're doing is they're actually going back in time to stop themselves from going back in time. Because the problem is you can't really sustain, like the problem with this kind of a movement.
Okay,
well, it's
hold
not
on.
the
hold
problem.
on. I don't want to lose this thread. I apologize for interrupting, but just bear with me. What if, Tim, the whole album, you've been right, but the others have been wrong? One group is trying to maintain the pure bloodline, the singular brotherhood for all mankind through time travel. Simultaneously, a later group, the people that were impacted by this winnowing down, this homogenization of humanity, are traveling in time simultaneously to reseed humanity with diversity. And that's the other. That's who they've been combating this whole time.
I agree completely with one small caveat. The second group of people is just as racist as the first. But the problem is, once they get to the future where it's just the homogenized, let's be honest, Swedish white people, they realize there's no one to hate and their movement kind of falls apart. They actually need the other.
An other.
Yeah.
Look at Helger Fland. His left eye is slightly less blue.
Yeah. Eventually they're just, doing what I suggest we all do and just dividing people up based on their earlobes.
Yeah, either you got them or you don't.
No, either they're attached or not. And I want to say,
what I mean.
Fuck those tatchy bastards.
Tatchy bastards can go straight to hell. I wouldn't dare have a meal with a tatchy. That's what I mean. Either do or don't.
Yeah.
If they're attached, you don't have lobes. By definition, the lobe dangles. The lobe doesn't connect.
Fair enough.
That's just ear.
You're right.
It's
They're
basically a deformity.
gills.
Yeah, or an appendix. Useless.
Well,
Useless.
fair.
Cut them off. No, that's too far. Okay.
Maybe cut them so they hang.
Ooh, that's got to be a surgery.
I'm
Take a little
sure. If
triangle out.
you're attached, you want to get rid of it. Doesn't matter. We should probably move.
Yeah. Track number 10, Voulez-vous danser?
Voulez-vous danser avec moi?
Open with some video game soundtrack noises. I like it. And then it's pretty much a straight dance number. No reggae here. And stealing liberally from the song Lady Marmalade.
Yes, and I think that this did go on to influence the Lobster Asshole Martini Babies and the Katy Perrys. I think this one really gets to that end.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. It's definitely a bridge. Let's get into it a little bit. I knew you before, about 5 years ago. Then you seemed like a person, which is odd. You didn't act like the people I know. Yeah, something was special about you. So they met a while ago. She was attracted to him. Didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
A bit insecure, but still kind of cute. At the same time, easy to talk to. And now I see you again. Now you're looking so good. So 5 years later, sees this dude again. She's like, you know what? Still into this dude. Let's
Yeah,
let's do something.
maybe before he was more meek. He was a nice guy, but she's not going to date that guy. Let's be honest. And now she sees him on the street, and he really takes her breath away. He's got some new tattoos. He's beefed up a bit. He's got a brand new haircut, maybe a goatee.
And so, of course, she responds as all women would. Voulez-vous danser avec moi? Voulez-vous danser avec moi ce soir? Voulez-vous danser? Do you want to dance with me tonight? And et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So maybe they're in a club. This felt like more of a Studio 54 thing to me. This is just a lowly waiter that she might have thought was nice, but now, as you said, Tim, she's come back. He's got the tats. He's been hitting the gym, new haircut, maybe maybe a sweet goatee.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Garrett. I look in the mirror and what do I see? You're the same kind of person. You're
come
like
on.
me. And I can't run away. I'm so attracted by you. So what's happened is before he was out there, he was kind of a nerd. He was maybe more accepting of others. And now that he has come over to her, he has come over to her side.
Way
He
of
has
thinking.
become more like her. Yeah, way of thinking. And also, you know, he's got that sweet tattoo over his left bosom.
Ugh.
The point is, now that he
Maybe the
has
last
become
time
like
she-
her,
Yeah.
she's more
She wants
attracted
to
to him.
dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the last time she saw him, he had dyed his hair, and she thought he was like a mud person or
Oh, dear.
or an eater.
I don't-
It's their words, not mine.
I don't think we should even say their words if those are their words.
Listen, just literally somebody like myself with dark hair, and she was like, "Ugh, disgusting." Nice person, but untouchable. And then she comes back 5 years later. He's got the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I just dye my hair once in a while, and also I'm now an extremist."
As one is, yes.
Yeah, happens. Good stuff. Then the outro is more of that French business, and yeah, I think that's about it. Track number 11, My Mind.
So wasting your mind. You're getting me home.
More time travel talk.
Yeah, but this time to a heavy bass beat. Feels way more Europop, even Lighthouse or electronica. I'm into it. But I gotta say, as a song, there's nothing here. Like, unless you're at a rave, there's nothing here. They kind of rule of 11 themselves.
Yeah, fully agree.
It's a lot of talking. You hear a guy saying, "Ace of bases in your mind."
You know what? I
Dance.
kind of like that ace of bases in your mind. Dance.
Yeah, it's not bad. I like the
Ace
guy
of
when he comes
bases
in.
your mind.
Okay.
Dance, dance, dance. San Francisco, work it out. San Francisco,
San Francisco,
work it out.
work it out. Everyone in the back, work it out. Oh, I'm sorry.
Point
Anyway,
is, pretty good song.
what happened there? This album's kind of dumb. Takes a lot of inspiration from Madonna's Vogue. Sounds very similar to Vogue, oddly enough, which you know that song, right, Tim?
Oh, of course.
Did you know that song came out on not an actual Madonna album, but on an album of music inspired by the film Dick Tracy?
Not surprised,
that song
but
was
no, I didn't.
Huge.
Yeah, well, that
it's
movie
so
was
weird.
huge. And
Was
Prune
it?
Face in it, man. I love Prune Face.
I
Bring
gotta
that
say,
face up.
stop saying prune face. I have to say, as a child who got a Happy Meal with Dick Tracy themed toys, which I think were just playing cards with prune face and flat top, I was like, oh, I hate this. This is not for children. Who was that for?
I don't know.
That movie sucks. Anyway, less about that. I think I've accidentally read pretty much all the lines in this song. Did I miss anything?
Maybe, but who cares? Because it doesn't matter.
Great. Track number 12 is, well, I don't know how you want to handle this, Tim.
I want to say this. If you're listening along, give this song. So, track number 12 is All That She Wants. Again, the Bangura version. It's the same song as the first song, but if you are listening along, give this a listen. We'll play a little bit of it here.
All that she wants is another baby. She's gone.
It feels more insidious. It feels more sinister.
Militant.
Yeah. The second time around, after all of this clear allusions to a certain political party over the
Well,
past.
they also remove all of the verses. There's no verses in that version.
Well, okay.
It's just choruses.
Corsai.
Corso.
Corsay?
Corsamus?
Yeah, but it's just all that she wants is another baby. It's just they're outbreeding us, man. And again, this is not us saying this. This
Yeah,
is
not. Now, Tim, did you have a bonus track?
I did not. I specifically did not download it because it is not part of the original version, and I won't do it.
Fair enough. That brings us to how did it do? So I'll ask Tim, how did anybody like this album?
Well, Garrett, because of the world we live in, and specifically the world we were living in 1992 and 1993, this sold 9 million copies in the US. It is certified non-Apple Platinum. It sold over 21 million copies worldwide. It was in the top 3 on the Billboard 200 for 26 weeks. It was the best-selling album in the US of 1994. The song The Sign was the best-selling song of 1994, according to Billboard. It topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 6 weeks. I do not know how it did in the Dutch, since the interns are still investigating the now classic Tom Brady controversy, but chances are it did pretty well there too.
I would imagine.
Do the Dutch have white people?
Oh, almost exclusively.
Oh, it did very well. It did very well in the Dutch.
Excellent question. What do people think of it?
Well, we have a Robert Christgau review that I believe is the shortest Robert Christgau review ever. I think. And it simply says, and I'll ask you to grade this afterward, but it simply says, simple music for a perfect world. And then he recommends All That She Wants and Happy Nation. Garrett. Based on this incredibly racist Robert Christgau review, allegedly, what did Robert Christgau think of this album?
4.5.
3 stars. Not sure that it goes up to 4.5 stars. We're gonna need to check that math.
That makes this game terrifically difficult.
That's fair.
Good stuff. Any other reviews?
No, there's like 433 total ratings on Amazon. To be honest, none of them are worth a shit.
Fair enough.
There's a guy that's driving through South Dakota listening to it. It's weird, but
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Who's this for?
I mean, do I need to answer that? I feel like this entire episode has been about who this is for.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. That brings us to final thoughts. What have we not said about this, Tim?
Oh, I just want to reiterate one more time. Everything I have said in this episode is alleged. It's probably not true. I personally don't believe it. This was literally just things that I read on Vice.com in the Huffington Post. And I want to say that I personally, me, not the show, but just me, Garrett P. Harvey, kind of do believe it to be true. But
no, fuck you. Also, you're not me. Don't claim to be me. You don't sound like me. And also, I don't believe it to be true.
Okay, there we have it.
Stop framing me for slander. Stop.
I can't.
Yeah, that's clear. All right. I'm going to say I like half the songs on this album.
You can like some of the songs, but that's not really the question, Garrett. The question, Garn, are you on board for this danceable intro to a certain ideology?
It's not proven.
You hate this album, Garrett. And keep in mind what not hating this represents.
You're really painting me into a corner here, you fuck. Here's what I'm going to say.
Garrett Harvey, possible.
We're going to bleep some of that.
The possible part?
No. That's the only word I'm keeping. Anyway, no, Tim, I don't hate this because I am not certain of its fascistic roots. I'm choosing to believe this is not about, boy, it's really hard to. You know what? I'm sticking to my guns. Fuck you. I'm not going to be bullied by you and your lies. No, I don't hate it. Tim, do you hate this album?
Garrett, let me tell you something. I think that a lot of these songs they sound good and I enjoy listening to them if I don't listen to the words or read the words or think about the words or know the history. But here's the problem, Garrett. This is a dangerous, dangerous album that expresses some ideas that I find repugnant, allegedly, to the ideas, not me finding them repugnant. I believe that you know what I'm going to say? I hate this. I think it's too close to fascism for my comfort.
No wonder Gino was into this album so much this week.
Oh yeah, he's into it.
I'm willing to say this. Should it be proven that this is a fascist anthem, and listen, everybody on this podcast is saying so far it's not, then I would change my opinion. But as of right now, innocent until proven guilty, don't hate it.
I'm going to be safe and not get suckered into joining some sort of organization.
Well, you've got a nasty history of that.
I do.
I understand why you're wary. You've been sucked into so many. Mostly the cowboy one, though.
Yes, and in the Navy.
In the Navy. Although they sucked you right out immediately.
Yeah.
Timothy Richardson sucked out by the Navy.
Yeah, they sucked me onto the Navy and then they sucked me off.
Sucked you off just twice as fast. Oh, stupid. Okay, we did it. Good job, everybody. If you can, and I don't know why I keep forgetting to say this at the beginning, but we really could use a 5-star rating on the Apple Podcast app, so if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. So would Tim, probably. It's tough to say. If not, hey, whatever. But thank you for listening. We'd also like to hear from you. hatePodMail@gmail.com. That's the Gmail address. And please, let us know what you like, what you're into. We love sound drops, intros, songs about the show, songs about artists on the show, weird stories about the music that we've talked about here today, the theories we have. Do you have proof that Ace of Base may or may not be some sort of recruitment vehicle for white supremacy? We certainly don't think so, but we'd love to see proof if you have it. Also, you can find us on Instagram. That's Album Hate Pod. On Twitter is HatePod. I'm G Harvey Tweets on Twitter. And hey, I'll talk to you. Reach on out. We've also got Discord servers and subreddits. And, we're on the internet. So everywhere you find a podcast, you found this one, you can probably find next next week's as well. And God damn it, we want to hear from you. So rate, review, subscribe, follow, whatever it is that your platform asks you to do it and do it hard. And then find a stranger's phone, pick it up, and then subscribe for them as well. They'll thank you, I promise. I legally don't do that, but do it. Okay, for Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy P. Richardson, and on February 6th, 2014, in a very thematically appropriate in conversation, Garrett Adolf Harvey said,
Oh, come on.
Putin may do what Hitler couldn't, sink the Olympics.
Oh, I remember that conversation.
Yeah.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
He didn't, but he could have.
And might still.
Sochi. Yeah. I mean, those things have to go down at some point.
Yep.
They are a blight on humanity.
Track number 4.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.